Welcome everyone to BG5 Live. My name is Lavina Archers and I'm joined by my co-host Natalie Kaiser. Hi Natalie.
Kaiser.
Am I saying that wrong?
No, it's the English pronunciation. It's pronounced in Dutch. It's pronounced Kaiser.
Kaiser. Wow. Awesome.
It's just so funny for me to hear.
Yeah. Welcome Natalie Kaiser.
Just say Natalie. That's
Natalie. Welcome, Natalie. And we also have our co-host, Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how's it going? I love how she's like, I'm not even going to try your last name.
Yeah.
It's so funny because people are like, how do you say it? I'm like, just how it's spelled, pretty much, you know, but it's Czech, so it's a little bit also a mouthful. But hi, everybody. Welcome.
Yay. And we are going to be joined today, if she can make it into the room, by a special guest. And Tuck hopefully will be joining us in a little bit. But while we're waiting for her, let's go ahead and talk about the thematics for the day. If you want to go ahead and change the slide to that first one we have, Natalie, there we go. And trait 45 is called gathering together. This is the natural and generally beneficial attraction of like forces. Natalie, since you selected these sentences, would you like to deliver them for us?
Well, these are not like the specific sentences for the trait itself, but it is from the How to Profit by Being You workshop series. So this is the way you sell, the way you profit from this if you have it in an open function. So you actually are selling, getting attention through being an insider. And so there's always a potential to move from the outer circle in. That is what people kind of want. That's what you want to be part of the tribe. It's a support trait as well. And so you can do it in several ways. Attract the attention of those that have by offering things they don't have that they can afford to buy. Because also the trait of gathering together is the only voice of the tribe. So it's saying I have or I don't have on the physical plane. It's how we survive on the physical plane by having and by gathering even more. when you it's connected to the willpower. So in the 21, and then it's I have and I will get more. That's actually how it operates. So that's also what you are selling, that you have and that you can have more and that you can be part of the tribe and an insider, so to say. Or you can attract the attention of those that don't have by getting them to a place where they do have. So if we would put it into BG5, you could offer to be part of, our little Gigi tribe here. Or you don't have the knowledge yet, you do not know how to be yourself, and you can be part of it and get there and be yourself, so to say. That's what we sell. With BG5, and also how to operate in partnership and in team settings. So so the gathering together is because this is the natural leader, the biological leader actually, and it is the gatherer of the tribe, and not just the family, the small family, but really the extended family. So if you have the larger group, in that way, it's the biological leader, and the I have is actually to support the tribe itself. So it's not just for pure personal beneficial together, but it's to better the tribe, and then we all benefit. Yeah, and that's actually also what the quality of today is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find it fascinating that you have this as part of your career design, and Chris and I both have the other side of it. So Chris, I'm wondering, how do you experience this energy, this 45 of gathering together? Do you notice this out in the world?
I do notice it out in the world. I'm thinking about, I was just talking, I'll give you a quick example, is that I was just talking with a client who is, we did profit potential coaching together, and she's amazing. I love working with her. And she called me up and said, hey, would you like, and she does retreats. Excuse me, my ice pack just fell down my back. I'm like, oh, that's cold. Anyway, so she called me up and said, hey, it would be really cool to come together and do some retreats for human design. And I was like, that's great. And I was looking at her design and I saw she has the 45. And here I am, the 21 on the other side of that. And she's great at gathering people together and providing the space for that. It's really cool. So I'm interested to see as that, like, okay, I'll go implement it, I'll make it happen. And she kind of holds court for it in a way, and she brings all these other amazing gifts that are her, uniquely hers. But
Yeah.
Now I know why we operated so well together when you were assisting me in the foundation.
Right. Yeah, exactly. With Natalie, right? So Natalie has the 45, I have the 21, and she would kind of do her thing, and I'd be like, well, here's another piece that will support you in what you're teaching, and a way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
How about you, Lavina? How do you experience the other half of it, the 21?
Oh, well, I am so attracted to people with these 45s personally in my career design. I'm always looking to see how I can support or be the power behind the throne of somebody who has that.
Yes.
So it's coming from somewhere else in my design as well. I have a 7 and not the 31 on the other side. So there's always this energy of wanting to serve and support the person who's going to be the figurehead and be able to educate the tribe.
Yeah, I totally get that. I very much get that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you feel that, did you feel that support, Natalie, when Chris was offering her ability to, yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting because the thing I really love about teaching, so that's maybe a good example here, since I am a teacher at the institute, is having the group and having the group together, and that the students feel part of I really look out for each student to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris is really of the practical implementations with her beautiful metaphors, and then assisting in how to apply it.
Implementation.
Yeah, the implementation.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great team. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
really liked it. And I'm actually thinking now back to the profit potential workshop we just had, that attracting the attention and how I get her. That's actually what I do always. I mean, when I was a student, I went abroad for half a year to Spain, and I would just, I didn't know anybody, but we were all like foreign students, and I was like, let's do a group event and get to know each other and go out into the mountains were there, and blah blah blah. So it's usually the first thing I do is gather everybody together and make it mold it into a group. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's really a natural role. And it's not that that's also with the 45, it's not per se, it is a leader, but I don't need to have this show off leader thingy, It is a natural leader. So I'm not there to then say, well, but more to have the group, and that we work together and make money with the tribe, and then we benefit all, the kind of thing. Or we get together, we get to know each other, and then we benefit all. We have a nice half year abroad, or whatever the thing may be. But yeah. And actually also when I came into a new job, I was not the only one that came in at the time, and it was a team of 15 persons, and we were 2 or 3 new people, and within a month I said, let's let's organize a team event. And yeah, it is to then be able to work, to communicate better with each other. It's also a voice, of course, and yeah, so it's really natural. I don't even think about it, and yeah, it's also kind of I don't even want to call it accepted, but because I don't feel as if I'm imposing anything. Could you say something about how that feels, Chris?
Yeah. So when you, we've talked about this before, and I say it like everybody who probably knows me is like, oh my God, she's saying it again. But we communicate energetically first and foremost. And so what's happening is that it's an energy that you transmit, whether you're aware of it or not, and other people receive it. We read each other's designs all the time, even though we don't even know anybody's designs. It's so primal to us. And so that's what I think is happening, is that it's one of those things where our designs are doing us, and we are more consciously aware or attuned to certain kinds of energies, but sometimes not. We're just doing it. And people read that and receive it, and they look to you and they say, oh, you're a natural leader, like you'll pull us all together. And you're like, I guess I'm doing that again. Okay. But depending on if you have it conscious or unconscious. Is that
I have it both and several times, so
both and several times. Well, there you go. That says a lot. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious. So what is the energy or the the quality of today, and how does that relate to all of it? Like, how does this play into us as the collective today?
It's a beautiful quality, actually. The quality is direction, so it's a 4th line quality, and of the influencer. And actually, direction in the 45 is like a true role for a 4th line quality. So it says here above the image, it says first education, then delegation. That's actually how you direct an organization. Let's not keep calling it tribe. Yeah, so an organization, because what the 45 does is educate, so just to say, so I educate you how to do it, and then once you know how to do it, I delegate. That's how the 45 leads. And so usually what we say is the voice of the 45 is I have, or I have not, or I do have to do or not. But here, since it's, the 4th line is transpersonal, has a transpersonal focus. So the I becomes we. And then so it's also the we of the organization, like the royal we, and you can be part of it, right? So it's organizing through education and then delegation, so that we can have more and all benefit from it. So that's actually direction. That's what direction stands for. Anything to add?
Yeah, Lavina, what are you noticing in today? Because it seems like you always have a great story for like, hey, that energy is showing up today. Do you have something?
Wow, today I have been having such a bad day. I could go into what I don't have, because I had to cancel a class due to my internet being out, and then the internet guy came to fix it, and my computer crapped. Just the hard drive is totally dead. So for me, it's about material resources, right? When we look at the quality of this energetic stream, it's the stream of capitalism. This is where it ends at the communication and action function. So what do we have? Do we have what we need in order to implement what we need for the tribe, which is education? So I'm always looking to that other side. Okay, how can I have enough to be able to support my people and educate them? The mind is always going to what we're not. So the educational piece is, well, we have to have stuff. This is about stuff. and in order to be able to reach large amounts of people. And that's what the quality is that we're going into, fourth quality day today, that is about being an influencer, a networker, somebody that can reach people through their network. So would you like to continue the slide presentation?
It's actually really a guide for our kind of material direction. So a guide of how to live in this physical world. We need, you know, things and money to survive. That's the material way. And this is kind of the guide of that. So let's see, does it work? Yeah. So this is the ease side of this quality. So the ability to focus, the opportunity of gathering together for the service of higher principles. Now, I was just listening to Ra about this specific quality, and the higher principle actually is not the higher principles as what we would think of it, but he said it is about the product you're selling, and that you actually also, that the product also benefits. So it's something that you would also want in your own life. So the higher principle is that the product is actually used. And not just for whatever. That's the higher principle of it. And the ability to focus is actually this direction, right? So the education and then delegation to be able to, sell or have. Or be able to work with the tribe, with the organization to get what we need, right? So the gathering together here is really to focus and in service of acquiring what we need. And yeah, exactly.
So one way to translate that today is that whether you're talking about yourself as an individual or family or an organization, it's about being able to focus, gather together and go, okay, what resources do we have? What resources do we need? How are we going to take this, you know, out into, well, that's the energy that we're in today.
So everybody would be focused on, okay, how can I acquire more? I don't know if you noticed this, Chris, but this week, as soon as 45 comes in, I have to worry about not, spontaneously overspending, because now all I want to do is like window shop, because now we've got that energy to be able to acquire more. So that's another piece that might come into how can we're using up what we have. Maybe we need to go out and get more, you know?
Right. That's a great point. I love that, to watch where you might get triggered for that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What else do we have here?
Yeah, so it's the expression of the higher principle in the physical world. And the 45 also is related to possessiveness. And I personally find possessiveness a ewy word. But possessiveness is necessary to live in the physical world, right? So it's also about I have this, and the material calculation of I have this, but I want this much more to be able to, you know, continue on living and have a good life, or to be able to pay for my daughter's college or whatever, you know. So that's the possessiveness. And you know, I have this much money and I have a property so we can live, and you know, but it's always attached to what you need, not and to what we need, and not so much the this one. So I have, and I'm going.
The show off I have.
Yeah, the show off I have. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So, that's a funny thing. That's probably also why I first didn't really like this trait in my design, but I can see I do it because I do it for the tribe, and that's because I do it for us. And it's looked at as if you do it for yourself, and that's not the essence of this energy. That's I think I just had an aha moment myself about my design. I'm so
Do you love it when that happens?
Yeah.
Like spontaneous insight. Is there anything else that we have to describe this day?
Yeah, so on the other side, there is a tendency to try to influence the direction of group action for personal benefit and the lack of expression of higher principles in the physical world. And it was really funny to listen to Ra. He was like, yeah, so what? If it's still, in the end, it will benefit the group. But this person just has a power trip. And I really had to laugh when he said that. Well, let him or her have that power trip, but we will still benefit all, you know? So that person is just thinking, how cool is it that I can lead and direct this group to acquire more, so we all have more, and I am the one that did it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if this lack of expression of higher principles in the physical world can show up as ownership for ownership's sake, not necessarily using whatever product and thing it is. Yeah. So that's not really benefiting the tribe. It's just like that kind of holding on to something. Yeah, hoarding. That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
What did you say, Chris?
Hoarding.
Yeah.
You hoard stuff and hold on to it. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, so it's that kind of day, an influential kind of day.
It is that kind of day, isn't it?
And where is stuff to give us direction now?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel sad that she hasn't been able to come in. I did message her. I could go and check one more time. So one moment, I'll just pause.
Okay. Do we have is there anything else about this 45 or this quality today that while we're checking on Tuck, anything else that's popping? Even for anybody in the chat too. I don't know if anybody's putting anything in the chat, but if you have something that, you know, what we've talked about has triggered you and you're like, oh yeah, that is reminding me of this, you know, put it in the chat. I'd love to see what.
Yeah, also unmute you to say hi. I see Ari, Juan Jose, Mark, Mary, Rachel, Renee, and Tuck isn't able to get in for whatever reason. So
okay,
able to, yeah, we didn't prepare any more slides because we had hers for an interview, unfortunately.
Okay, cool. Well, we might make this one a shorty then, but I'm just curious. Like, I'm thinking about how could we, you know, tie it together. Or Rachel has yeah.
Rachel, you can go ahead and say your piece. Hi.
Well, I was trying to write, but it says that the conversation was deactivated by the host, so I was not able to type anything.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay. And well, I was just thinking that, you know, those king and queen and all the people that had the money, they build up those absolutely tremendous monument and churches, and the heart they brought, you know, they were uplifting the masses with all those beauty, all those high principle, all the search of bigger and better, and having, you know, this part of the positive about it.
Yeah,
the word opulence comes to mind too, you know, show the regalness and the showing off of what we have as a group.
Well,
it might be showing off, but it also was the fact that it was bringing something out of the ordinary, you know.
How do you mean, Rachel? Out of the ordinary?
Yeah, bringing something out of the ordinary, bringing something grandiose, tremendously out of the survival. You know?
Yeah. Well, in and of itself, you know, an organization or a tribe or a family, I personally don't feel that, but we compete with other tribes, right? That's the nature of, and as an organization, we also compete with others. So there may be a little bit of show off that actually has a function to be able to say we are better than you are, because you want to be an in crowd of this organization or whatever for something, right? So there has to be some kind of, so it's not all negative, you know, it's also a function. And and you were mentioning churches and things. So you need to gather your the people as well in a functional place, and it better be beautiful and nice together to be able to feel, you know, proud of being part of that organization or that kingdom, if it's a kingdom in former times. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think it's both a little bit, huh? So yeah, does that make sense, Rachel?
Of course, yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for your contribution.
Welcome.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to add about
Yeah,
this?
if I may, I'd like to invite Juan Jose. I'm going to allow you to talk, Juan Jose. There you go. So you can unmute yourself if you want to say anything. But since I know you've been in design for a while, maybe you want to contribute anything.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Juan Jose.
Yeah, right. The screen is different, and I don't know if it was active the microphone, or I don't know. But now I can see that is right. It's only the microphone, also not the camera.
No, your camera is off. Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. Yeah.
I am a little bit confused. Okay, but yes, I want to thank Natalie, because when she was talking, I was transporting to my childhood. I remember my father saying all the ways, "I work for my family. I work for my family. I work for my family," and it was. Also was a pain in the expression, and also a pleasure, a proud is proudly he can provide for his family. He's
Yeah.
proud. But, all right, she understand. Uh, well, is this both to find this balance, as you say, that this power trip that. One can have if we have this responsibility to be the figure, because some person have this quality and some person not, but you must when you must do this role, maybe this is not a role that you are equipped for that. You feel forced to do this role, and it's not natural for you. When you have this quality in your personal design, it's easy to find this balance. I don't know, but it depends for a lot of things. Maybe if you are living healthy, you're healthy, you're designing a healthy way, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think about that in this moment, about my father, about this figure of his role in the world, that is relevant.
Yeah,
Sorry.
wonderful. Thank you for contributing. Okay. And what you triggered in me, it is kind of the figurehead, the 45. So if we would think of, what was the Apple guy's name again?
Steve Jobs.
Yeah. So Steve Jobs, maybe himself, he was a creative guy, but it's mostly his company that developed it, that maybe even thought of new innovations and whatever, but he was the figurehead, the face, and he could sell it to the world so that the tribe could benefit, right? So that's he's also, in a sense, so the father that you were talking about, Juan Jose, is, you know, for his family, and I have to work because I have to support the family. But like Steve Jobs, he needed to sell to be able to benefit his tribe, yeah, so that the products got sold, and that's his way of, you know, contributing. So in that sense, you can look, and what I also liked is that you kind of have this. So I always had this love-hate relationship with the 45. I see myself doing it, but then I thought of the 45 more as the power trip 45 type of person, whereas if you do it natural and authentic, then you have the ability to gather people and get the people focused and you know, to benefit the whole, so to say. So in that sense, I can see it. I do it naturally, but I kind of, having it myself, I kind of feel it as ill, you know. I don't want to be the leader. I don't want to be the power trip leader, but I am kind of the natural leader, which makes me think, as you said, Juan Jose, that maybe the persons that don't have it and try to be this figurehead use it in a wrong way. You know, go out unhealthy about it and use the power they have in a wrong way, and not, yeah, in a natural way. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And sell a lot of stuff we actually don't need.
Right.
If we look at the higher principles, set a server of higher principles, goods that we really use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting.
So maybe today we could just say, beware of buying crap you don't need today. That's your takeaway message today. You could tweet that.
Trying to convince other people that they need something that they really don't need.
Right, exactly. But also, I mean, maybe another way of looking at it too is just, you know, how you think about your personal life and or your work is, you know, who are you gathering together? How and why are you gathering? Like today is maybe a good day to assess that. If this is not natural in your design, meaning it's not defined in your design consistently, but we have access to it today, is, what does that look like? Where am I embodying this? Where am I leaving it out? Where am I, you know, where could I be more intentional about this in my business, perhaps?
And giving direction through education, through showing or explaining how things can be done, and then give the power to the people.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Because that's the kind of energy there is today. So
this whole week, it's the support of the tribe or your organization or your extended family.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right. Is that a good closure?
I think so.
Yeah. We're about time. So thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate you being here with us. And we'll see you next week for another edition of BG5 Live. On this next slide, you can see that we have a free report. If you're new to the BG5 Institute, just go to BG5Institute.com. We have free reports there, free sample reports. There's also extended versions of these reports that are based on your unique career design. And on the next slide, you can see that we also have profit potential workshops. So these are going to help you understand how you are here to ethically and honorably and authentically profit by being you. And our next profit potential is going to be identity and direction. We just finished the communication and action, and really fun. I highly enjoy and recommend these because they stand, each of them stand on their own. You don't have to know anything. You come into this and we would like you to get either the report, the full report, or an analysis from a consultant. But you can come in with your own chart and just start to learn to pick up the language and the concepts that are here to help you learn how to profit by being you. Anything you want to add to that, Chris? How have they been for you? Because I know you're going through this as an educator, and you're going to be starting one this fall.
Yeah, we'll start with Drive and Stamina again. So if you're interested in starting at the beginning, that'll start in September. But I love these. They're like my favorite conversation to have with my clients, and my favorite application of design is because everybody wants to know, how am I here to make money? And how do I, live being me and get paid for it, And I'm like, here's how you get paid for it. It's doing this, and that. And it's just so fun. It is the greatest practical application aside from like relationship dynamics, this is really nothing more than your relationship with the world and how the world's going to pay you to be you. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool. I love it. I love this topic. So.
Yeah, and the next one is identity and direction. So we'll educate you, and then delegate it to you to be you and to profit by being yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, July 10th. All right. Awesome. Lavina?
Well, thank you everyone again for being here. Really glad to be here with you all, and we will see you next Tuesday at 1 p.m. U.S. Pacific time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.